Hello, this is John Perivale with Access Arts Live, the weekly roundup of chamber music. This week we have all sorts of concerts going on, including string quartets and piano trios, historical performances, musical families, solo artists, you name it, from Europe to the United States. So let's get to it. Now, remember to like this video on Facebook and on our other platforms. Don't just like the video, like us. Follow or subscribe to Access Arts Live on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, and or Threads. And now let us get to the first of the events that I want to tell you about because it's coming up in just a few hours' time. It's a little bit after noon here in Europe on Thursday, March 6th, and we have a couple of live stream concerts coming to you free of charge today already. The first of them will be at 3 o'clock European time. And I see we do have a viewer watching, and feel free to say hello. I have the chat box open here on Restream, which is how we manage to stream on multiple platforms. But I have yet to see any comment or on any of our platforms actually show up in the chat overlay here. That picture you see there is the charming and extremely musical Zhislin family. Thursday, March 6th at 3 o'clock European time, St. Mary's Perivale live streams the multi-talented Zhislin family, plus Sasha Grinyuk on piano, playing Debussy, Schubert, Chrysler, and Assai. That's right, that'll be at 2 o'clock London time, which is 3 o'clock in Europe, 9 in the morning on the East Coast, 6 in the morning on the West Coast. I know some of you Hollywood people are up that early, and 1 o'clock in the morning, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. The Zhislin family is Yuri Zhislin. He's the father of it all. He plays the violin. His wife, Natalia Lomeko, also plays the violin. Their daughter, Anya Zhislin, plays the piano and the violin. Now, the photo you're looking at there was taken in 2020, so she's roughly 4 years older now. She's a little more grown up. If you look them up, you'll see that this family has a terrific musical pedigree. Natalia Lomeko has been a professor at the Royal College of Music in London since 2010. Yuri Zhislin studied at the Royal College of Music with his father. He also teaches violin and viola there. Their daughter, who is now 10 years old, Anya, has been studying at the Rachmaninoff Music Academy since 2018. She also plays in another ensemble called I Violini with her mother, with Natalia Lomeko and Dominika Rosiek. As for Sasha Grinyuk, he's won over 10 international competitions and was chosen as a rising star by the BBC Music magazine. So he took first prize in the Greek International Piano Competition. So this should be a lovely concert for you. The details of what they're playing, hold on a second. They'll be playing, Anna Zhislin will play an arabesque by Debussy on piano. Then Yuri and Sasha will play Schubert's violin sonatina in A minor. Then there'll be Anya and Sasha Anya on the violin and Sasha on the piano will play Gluck, a melody by Gluck, and then a Dancing Doll by Poldini Chrysler. These are little things, you know. And then they'll play a couple of pieces by Assai, the Norwegian legend, Legende Norvégienne, I should say, and the Grande Valse de Concert, the great waltz of the concert, Opus 3. And that'll be Natalia Lomeko playing that on her own on the violin. A lovely family concert. And I got to tell you, these concerts from St. Mary's Perivale are always top quality. So just because I give you a cute family photo that I pulled off of Facebook, that doesn't mean they're kidding around. This will be very nice music. A lovely way to spend an hour or so this afternoon. Then, roughly 3 hours later, we move into the realm of early music and historical music performance with the Gotham early music scene and its weekly Thursday Midtown concert. They're in New York. Midtown Concert live streams historic music specialist Assai ad Libitum on Thursday, March 6th, playing music composed by winners and losers of the French Revolution and Napoleonic times. Yeah, this is an interesting concert called Musical Exiles of the French Revolution. It'll be at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 7:15 in the evening in Europe, 4:15 in the afternoon on the West Coast. And I don't know what time it is in Australia, but it's not a watchable aria. This group, Assai ad Libitum, is an historical ensemble put together by Patricia Garcia Gill on the piano, Sophia Genevieve Lowe on the violin, and Ryan Lowe on the historical violoncello. They're based in Virginia and North Carolina. Patricia and Sophia are both members of the Early Music America's Emerging Professional Leadership Council. They worked together there, and that brought them into the idea of performing this trio. They also perform as a duet. Now, what they're doing is taking music by composers who are on both sides of the French Revolution and the Napoleonic era, which followed it, and playing them for you on historic instruments. This will be Pierre-Louis Huss Desforges, who lived from 1773 to 1838. His Sonatina No. 2 in E minor for violin and violoncello, Opus 49. Yeah, they have opus numbers. Then a piece by Hélène de Montgeroux, who lived in about the similar time period. Sonata for forte, piano, violin, and violoncello, Opus 2, No. 3. And then a piece by Ignaz Joseph Pleyel, much more well-known, a keyboard trio in F minor. So that should be, Midtown concerts are always top quality. This, if you're interested in historical performances, I don't think you can do better than the Midtown concert. So I can recommend this to you if that's your field of interest. Now, and I want to mention something. This is going to go out to all the early music people, and yet, this, technically speaking, this is late 1700s, early 1800s, which is a little later than many early music people think of, because they cut off the Baroque, I think, in the mid 1700s. But we're going to circulate it to all of us, and a separate clip on this. And forgive me if it offends anybody's early music sensibilities in advance, but I want to make sure that those who do want to hear it know about it. That's what we're here for. Okay, let's then move on to a solo artist. We had a family, we had a trio. Now we move on to a solo artist, and what a solo artist we have coming up for you. This will be on Saturday. We're moving into Saturday and Sunday when MarchVivo has their Saturday and Sunday noon concerts. Excellent timing for in Europe, but a little tough on the Americans. Good times for Australians, if anybody's following us. The acclaimed pianist Marta Zabaleta graces the stage of MarchVivo's live stream from Madrid on Saturday, March 8th at noon European time, playing music which evokes Iberian landscapes. MarchVivo, they like to do series of different kinds of music, and they'll do 2, 3, 4 series on a theme. And the theme, one of the themes they have ongoing is Iberian landscapes. I looked up Marta Zabaleta. I did not know who she was before. I think we're giving you the link to her page, and wow, she's terrific. She's a professor at Musicana, and she's the director of the Marshall Academy in Barcelona. She's worked with orchestras like the Berlin Phil, the London Symphony. Her discography includes the complete piano works of Joaquin Rodrigo on EMI, the Bass Concerto by Francisco Escudero with claves, and the Concerto for 2 pianos by Angel Martin Pompey with RTVE standout. So, this is top of the line. What will she be playing? She'll be playing the Basque Preludes 12, a selection of Basque Preludes by Jose Antonio de Donostia, who was late 1800s to mid 20th century. Then she'll be playing a Bacchiana Canariense for piano by Laura Vega, 1978. I am not sure whether that date is when Laura was born or when this was composed. They just put the number in parentheses, but I think it may be date of birth. Then Mundaka by Gabriel Ercoreca, 1969, and then a piece by Albéniz. So those are probably dates because otherwise, in parentheses, they're giving the dates of birth and death. Then Albéniz is Iberian, Notebooks 1 and 2, and he was born in 1860 and died in 1909. This is another excellent, high-quality live stream available to you this week. I can commend it to you. MarchVivo, and very often they also have explanations of what the players are playing and why, but usually those are in Spanish. So you want to, if you have some Spanish, well, you can follow that. Once again, if you are watching us, and I know we do have some live stream viewers, feel free to drop us a line in the chat box wherever you're watching us, and so I can see if it will show up in the chat box on Restream, which supposedly relays to us any local comments. Continuing with MarchVivo this weekend, that picture that I just put up for you there is MarchVivo has a Sunday noon live stream they do all the time, and usually I don't talk too much about it because it's for young performers, but in this case the young performers are hot stuff. So let me tell you about it. Sunday, March 9th, the day starts in Europe at noon with MarchVivo in Madrid and the Baroque ensemble Flor Galante, live streaming you back to the court of King Frederick of Prussia in the 1700s. Yeah, so this is Flor Galante. Let me tell you a little bit about who they are. I think I have some information. They're based in Basel, Switzerland, and I think they live streamed back in the fall, and we told you about one. Again, I think it was on MarchVivo, but I'm not sure. They were founded just 4 years ago by 4 musicians who met during their early music studies at The Hague and in Basel. And right away, they won first prize at the 4th Berlin International Bach Competition in September of 2021. And it's been onward and upward since then. Now, what they're doing for this concert, which is their main focus, they're focusing these days on 18th century Berlin court repertoire, emphasizing composers who worked for King Frederick of Prussia and who today are little known or rarely performed. So I'm going to tell you who they are, but you're likely, even if you're an early music specialist, you're not going to know. Now, the pieces in this quatuor are a Baroque oboe, Baroque violin, and Baroque viola, Baroque, a viola da gamba, and the harpsichord. So these are period instruments. They'll be playing Johann Gottlieb Janic's Sonata for Oboe, Viola, Viola da Gamba, and Continuo in C major, 1708 to 1763. They'll be playing Johann Gottlieb Graun's Sonata in Trio for Viola, Viola da Gamba, Tiple, and Continuo in C minor. They'll be playing another piece by Janic, Sonata for Violin, Oboe d'Amore, and Continuo in F sharp minor. And then a piece by Christian Gottfried Krauss, a Sonata in Trio for Violin, Oboe, and Continuo in D minor. And a piece by Christoph Schaffrath, Sonata for 4 for Oboe, Violin, Viola da Gamba, Tiple, and Continuo in E flat major. Well, this is about as early music in Baroque as you're going to get, folks. If that's what turns you on, this concert will probably turn you on. And if you don't know about this stuff, this is a great opportunity, free of charge, to find out about it. Now, that will be at noon. That's their weekend time, noon European time, 6 in the morning on the East Coast, 3 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast if you're staying up late on Saturday, and 10 in the evening Australian Eastern Daylight Time on Sunday. I think we have one more main live stream that I want to tell you about, which is strictly classical chamber music. It's the the Rautio piano trio. Sunday, March 9th, St. Mary's Perivale scores again with a top quality live stream of the highly capable Rautio piano trio playing Schubert and Beethoven for you at 4 p.m. European time. That'll be 3 o'clock in London, which is where St. Mary's Perivale is located. 4 o'clock in Europe, 10 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, 7 in the morning on the West Coast. We give you the link to it. It's on YouTube. They have a great chat box, St. Mary's Perivale, with people from all over the world who jump in on it, and most of them know an awful lot more about chamber music than I do. I'm not ashamed to admit it. That's not my job. My job is to help those of you who know more than I do find what I can find for you. I'm your humble servant, so to speak. The Rautio trio, I looked them up, and wow, again, this is another, they were formed at the Royal Academy of Music in London. And they came out with a debut album almost 10 years ago of Mozart trios. They specialize in 18th century and 19th century repertoire on both modern and period instruments. They've got 3 albums out, which are all critically acclaimed. They performed at Wigmore Hall and King's Place, South Bank, Bridgewater Hall, etc. They're currently recording the complete cycle of Beethoven piano trios with forte piano. So this, again, this will be like another excellent concert. I think they're only playing 2 pieces for you, but they're good pieces. Yeah, this is Schubert's Nocturne in E flat and Beethoven's piano trio in B flat, Opus 97, the Archduke piano trio. This is what we have for you this week in, strictly speaking, chamber music, but there's more, folks. So I'm going to continue for a little while. There used to be this crazy guy on Venice Beach way back decades and decades ago. He used to stand up on a park bench and just talk. He was it was a hippie who never went away and never got over it. And he used to stand on that bench and talk and crack jokes, and huge crowds would gather around him and people would give money to him and everything. I'm pretty sure he was living well off of it. And he used to sometimes say, well, all good things must come to an end, but this is not such a good thing, so we'll keep going. So that's what I thought of when I said I'm going to keep going here. Anyway, we now come to, I want to talk to them relatively briefly. These are 3 live streams which are what you could call new music or now music, but they're very different from each other. One is much closer to classical chamber music, and then 2 of them are just music that's out there. So let's go through them. Let's talk about them for you. The first of them, this is the one which is closest to being what we typically think of as chamber music, and it's they're called the Anzû Quartet. The Anzû Quartet plays chamber music, which is about as contemporary as it can be and still be chamber music. This Sunday, March 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live streamed by Roulette Intermedium. Roulette Intermedium is a theater in New York that live streams all kinds of very contemporary music. This is a quartet with piano, clarinet, cello, and violin. And they go out and they commission work which corresponds to this kind of a quartet. They take their name. The Anzû Quartet they were inspired by Olivier Messiaen's Quatuor pour la fin du temps, a quartet for the end of the world or end of time. And they go around commissioning and performing new works, which they feel follows this pattern of Messiaen's original masterpiece. The name Anzû refers to a massive fire and water-breathing bird found in Babylonian Sumerian mythology, and you got to figure out what the rest of that means to you. They'll be playing a piece by Weber. What's Weber's first name? Anna Weber, called Adjust. This is composed and improvised music worlds in a 5-part work. I don't know what that means. They'll be playing a piece by Mario Diaz de Leon called Tree of Life. They describe it as eco-theologically motivated response to the Quatuor pour la fin du temps. inspired by Revelations 22, verses 1 to 2. I haven't looked that up, but you can. And then they'll do a piece called Frictionless Objects by Ryan Carter, which they describe as wild extended techniques and expanded tonality in an emotive 10-minute work. Folks, this is pushing the limits of what people will consider chamber music, but it's a chamber quartet based on a format that goes back to Messiaen. You can't say it's not chamber music, but it's pretty wild. It's not your grandma's chamber music, I'll tell you that. Okay. Now, then we have a couple more live streams, which are this is just crazy stuff, according to, people looking for typical chamber music. So you can turn this off now if that's all you want to know about. The first of these, very briefly, as usual, Composers Concordance live streams Musical Madness this Saturday, March 8th, with genre-crossing electroacoustic music, poetry, and film from the USA, Costa Rica, and Mexico. This seance is called Seth and Gene's Excellent Electroacoustic Adventure. Composers Concordance is led by guitarist, composer, and inventor Gene Pritzker. And so the Seth and Gene there, the Gene is Gene Pritzker. This will be piano, guitar, and two poets. Oh, and a DJ too. So playing pieces by Gene Pritzker, Seth Bustid, Marvin Camacho, Carlos Castro, Rodrigo Grillo Grilasca, and Rodrigo Siegel. If you like this kind of music way out there, this electroacoustic stuff, Gene Pritzker pushes the limits and then goes beyond them. Okay. Okay, I've got another one along these lines too. Where there's one more. Okay, and this is a picture of these musicians at work, but it doesn't look like they have any instruments in their hands. This is the Ensemble Decipher. Sunday, March 9th, Constellation Chicago live streams Ensemble Decipher, a modular experimental music group that performs with vintage, contemporary, and emerging technologies. That's right. This will be at 7:30 p.m. Chicago time, 8:30 on the East Coast, 2:30 in the morning in Europe. Stay up late, live crazily, and 12:30 lunchtime in Australia on Monday. And they tell us that this ensemble, recent works commissioned by the group have, quote unquote, mobilized network type technologies, amplified gardening, machine learning, kinetic sculptures, acoustic instruments, and laptops. So there you have it, folks. That's what you have from this group. Now, in addition to all of this, we also have, and I just have to, these things go on too long. I got to wrap this up within 25 minutes. So I would just want to tell you very briefly that we will also give you the links to several paid live streams going on this weekend. This week, chamber music societies on the east and west coast of the U.S. offer you a wide variety of live streams at varying prices, from Baltimore to D.C. to Denver to Portland and Seattle. This will include the Denver Friends of Music on Thursday, March 6th at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time. The St. Mark's Music Series, Mystery of Winter Skies, which is on Friday at 7:30 p.m., again, Pacific Time. The Musicians of the Old Post Road on Saturday, March 4th at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And what is the next one? The Handel Choir of Baltimore doing Liebeslieder by Schumann and Brahms. Brahms' Liebeslieder waltzes on Saturday, March 8th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And finally, the Delgani String Quartet, which is out on the West Coast, both on Sunday, March 9th and Tuesday, March 11th, doing a concert called Italian Inspiration. And we will give you the links for all of those if that is what thrills you. Folks, thanks for tuning in. I hope those of you who are watching live enjoyed it. I still don't see that if any of you made any comments, Restream has not picked them up and directed them to me, or I would have replied. But thank you so much for watching live. And we'll circulate this as a replay all over the place on all 6 of our platforms. Please remember, if you're watching on, if you see this on, back this up, please remember to like this video on Facebook and on our other platforms. Don't just like the video, like us. That is, follow or subscribe to Access Arts Live on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Threads. Have a great weekend coming up, and I hope you enjoy one, more, or any of these live streams, that they inspire you, uplift you, or just show you a heck of a good time. Ciao for now.